Many thanks for staying with us. The program is This Morning on ITV, broadcasting from your darling station, independent television located at the hilltop of Umpape Hill in the nation's capital city. My name is Iharo Ata. National security appear to have somewhat improved, not so well improved a little, compared to what we got about a month ago, where everywhere was so much heightened with fear and panic across. We saw attack on soft targets in the southeastern part of the country. We saw kidnapping in the north central part, with Kaduna being the epicenter. We saw as well attack on some facilities in the south, precisely River State, where some military personnel were killed. The Boko Haram insurgents tried incursion into Borno, into Maiduguri, somewhat they were repaired, and at some point they struck on their target briefly and disappeared. In the northwestern part of the country, Zamfara, Sokoto and others, and bandits appear to still be playing around, with Niger State in the north central not being spared. But as we speak at the moment, it appears as if most of those security challenges appear to have subsided a little, not so much. But what can we do going forward? The governors of the southern states, the southwest, the southeast, and the south-south met in Asaba, the capital of Delta State, and what many now describe as the Asaba Accord. They agreed to ban open grazing and look at the issue of restructuring. That would largely help. Maybe from restructuring, we get the issue of state police. Let's look at national security as it is today and what should be done. What should be done going forward to ensure that Nigerians sleep with their two eyes closed and, if possible, even snore while sleeping. Mr. Jonathan Isaac, security consultant, is with me in the studio. Welcome.
Good morning, Atta. Good morning, viewers.
Let's start off and look at the recent gain or decline in the state of insecurity. Last 3 weeks, if you agree with me, everyone thought, hey guy, we are almost at the cliff. We are at the brink. We're not sure what will happen the next minute. And we were here, we thought, oh, this was going down. But in the Nigerian spirit, like what we saw during the June 12 and other era, we appear, even the NSAS, we appear to have come out of it a little and other. What played out within this period?
Well, I think the approach to security issues is in the last 2 weeks, not 3 weeks, the last 2 weeks have improved a little. But just over a week, we have over 43, about 44 persons kidnapped across the states, the nation. And it's very unfortunate because I came to discover that while the security forces are still fighting this war, there are certain resolutions and decisions that may hinder them, and we start having an opposite of what they are having today. Like what the governors, like you said, the Asaba governors now,
Asaba Accord,
Asaba Accord are doing now. When something is wrong nationally, you don't find the solution regionally. When there's a problem nationally, you don't go around looking for the problem regionally. And if you must take a regional approach, it should be temporary, not to divorce the country security architecture. And I believe that when you have insecurity situations, because the insecurity situation have been addressed into two components. We have the elite orchestrated insecurity, and we now have the conventional insecurity. So what insecurity are they trying to address? Are they addressing the elite orchestrated insecurity, or are they addressing the conventional insecurity? You cannot address the conventional insecurity at the regional level. You must start it from the top. So whatever they are doing should, carrying along the national body to say this is what we should be doing. But taking your solution at the regional level will further complete with the resolution from the national body.
But I think they also plan to meet with the president once he returns back from
that
France.
Should have been done before the regional summit.
But many are saying that as long as the governors met, agree, although there were critics who believe that governors ought to restructure within the state level, giving judiciary autonomy, giving local government autonomy, which they are all fighting against, coming to ask for national restructuring, which they feel may. But that will be in one corner for another day here. But the issue on ground is having met at the level of southern governors and agree. I think it would be good for him to take it to the president.
Well, like I said, the approach to it will, to me, is going to affect the war. It's going to, a way to demoralize the people at the one front. I have looked into what they did, and I equally believe that their resolutions, to an extent, is of the good of Nigerians. They took this resolution to ensure that the people are protected. But, like I said, the formations of regional securities and all of that is going to conflict with the conventional security interest. And you remember last time I said that this will not function properly because the conventional security are not in full force, or they are not in support, giving them the backings, the regional security, giving them the backings that they ought to get from the conventional security. And not having that, just recently we now see what is happening between the ESN group and conventional security operatives. We equally see how some the Ebubeago's group have been fought to an extent. So you see that once a formation from the regional level is not in line with the conventional approach of issues or to security matters, definitely there will be a problem. So before you take a step, that is where the National Security Advisor should have come in all of this, to be carried along. Because see him alone, he is representing the national interest of the people. And once he comes in, Mr. President is just assured that whatever resolutions they are taking is in the interest of the national conventional insecurity. Not one region taking his own side, the other region taking the other side. If the open grazing law is in favor of national conventional insecurity, all governors around adopt that one, and National Security Advisor said this is the right way to go, Mr. President. With that, you don't.
But will it be easy without pressure? Because what I think the southern governors did is to come as a pressure group, seeing that they have suffered from that, to mount pressure a little at the center to ensure that the anti-grazing bill or the anti-grazing drive or the anti-grazing initiative, that okay, we've had problems with headers here. Can we get headers to actually stop moving around?
Enforcement of this law definitely is going to be carried out, not by the regional security, but by the conventional security. Are you in me?
I'm following you.
And if the conventional security has not been given that backing by the national power, that is where there's need for the center to come in. If the central government is not in support of this, you know that is going to be an opposite, and that is where the regional security want to enforce what the state has said. Why the conventional security will be dragging its foot, and by which time the regional security want to do what is needful, there will be clash.
Can they come to a point? Okay, let's take for instance now, we have a problem between herders and farmers. We don't want it to escalate. Normally, when you go graze, the cows may eat the crops. When the cow eat the crops, the farming community will retaliate. And to stop all of these, let's see if we can keep the cows somewhere and let's not allow them go into this area on issues of open grazing. I think it's something that some persons can buy into.
It's a good idea. Like I said, our approach system has been the problem. Our approach method, the mechanism we wish to use, sometimes does not work for us. Take, for instance, the issue of today, we don't have people rob on transit anymore. People don't come to your house to rob you easily because why? The banking banking issues have been, banking system have been improved. The banking system have been improved.
So that you can just go to
occasioned by the deployment of ICTs.
Good.
Are you in me?
Follow you clearly.
Just to what? To curtail that part. If one state felt that there's much of this cybercrime in one state and they said, let us do this within the state, would it work? Without the CBN, without the banking sector coming together from the national level to look for a method, to look for a solution to be able to address the issue. But if it is addressed at a state level, at a regional level, definitely others will suffer it. So that is why you want to address an issue that is of a national concern, address it from the national concern and not from the regional concern. Today we are experiencing death across the state. We are experiencing kidnappings across this nation. We cannot say one state is suffering more. Therefore, coming together to take a resolution is best. If the national power is behind all of this, if the national government, talking about the federal government, said, let us do this, they will have result. And that is why I have been saying often and often, formulations of different regional security outfit would have been the best. But it's a temporary arrangement to see how they can meet up. Because if you did not do anything at all, then it is to your own detriment. But the federal government needs to buy into the ideas of what
now one problem also, let's touch what some other guys up north have raised, that it appears in most southern states, even when they talk about there's a need to stop open grazing to ranch, it appears that there is a kind of unofficial consensus not to give out land for ranching.
You know, Mr. Atta,
not to even allow people even buy land for ranching.
You are one of the first witness I will call to this when we discuss the issue of the Southwest crisis. When my wife told you that ranching would be an alternative, okay. But in that, are governors ready? When we talk about leaving the forest,
ranching is even the best alternative, because normally across the world, cows don't go round. When they go round, they don't look good. They don't even come out healthy. They are so skinny. They are so dry. The meats are not fresh.
An alternative,
are not even soft either.
But an alternative to solve the situation is what we are looking at the moment. Although even ranching also is capital intensive. And I was saying the other time that will governors be ready to donate lands and put teams together for them, and in other way around, by the time they invest into that, in time to come, it becomes a revenue for them, because these people over time start paying for revenues. You have markets where these cows are, they eat, they go buy grasses, they bring in there, and all of that, and maintenance of this place, revenue will definitely come.
And the headers' children can go to school.
Can go to school. And before that, and like that, you can now live together because you know their address. You know where they are. People can locate them. You interface with them. You can speak with them. But living thick inside the forest, leaving them to face the life of the snakes, the tigers, their minds have been radicalized naturally with what they have seen, what the wars they have fight with in the bush. But if you bring them back home, look, there's an adage in my place that if the child goes wrong and you flog him, use the other hands to bring him back. This is where governors need to look into the future and avail them opportunities. So ranching is an alternative. It's a good alternative if governors are willing to give them their best. Because when you said you ban open grazing, what alternative have you put in place? What considerations have you put in place?
Some of them said farming, grazing is a personal business, according to some of the arguments.
But it contributes to our economic development.
But this is a personal business.
It's a personal business, but like I said, it contributes to the growth and the development of the people as well. Because it is from this personal business that some persons have been able to earn living and also support others. So if you look at it as a personal business, there are some governors that are into grazing as well. There are some governors and some local government chairmen, state assembly members that into rearing, and even most of the cows this land is carriers are carrying along don't belong to them.
They're owned by the elite.
They're owned by the Clearly, that's why I told you that some of these crises are elite motivated crises, and they are conventional insecurity issues. But at the moment, what I'm seeing at the state level is the elite orchestrated crisis. And that is why they don't want to carry the federal government along. If there is no interest...
What is the federal government aligning itself to partner with the governors?
I believe that the federal government, when talked to, when properly approached, not from the views of opposition. We have had some oppositions who have spoken to government in time past, and government healed to their advices. So if you are your comments, your approach to issues are not from the opposition point of view, it will be looked into as a welcome development.
Now, away from the Asaba Accord, matters arising from the Asaba Accord, let's look at the issue of secessionist comment, talk, drive. The South appear to be one of the areas that is somewhat calm and running. The Southeast, we know of IPOP, Masop may have somewhat gone a little bit quiet. The other group in the Southwest, the Odua group, where Sunday Boho tried to come up. What was your take on these groups?
To me, my take on this group, there should be an immediate disbandment of this group.
Are you sure?
Yes.
They say the agitators, they have reasons, according to them.
Their reasons should not translate into the destructions of our conventional security architecture. Because the clash of interests, the statement and incitement, it's rather the cost of insecurity, even at the state level. They have turned against our conventional security. And we cannot watch our conventional security become a mockery. Watch the other day, they said the vigilantes are watching over police stations. Police has deserted their duty post. Is that supposed to be? So I see that there is a compromise, and there's every effort, energy geared towards reducing our conventional security to nothing. And this is where I expect the Inspector General of Police to come in. This is where I equally expect, like I said, the National Security Advisor to come. They should disband those groups. If you have anything, if you have grievances or have anything to register, there are appropriate quarters to register those grievances. Not necessary. Making yourself a warlord before your grievances can be aired. We have so many. Look, the other day, about 4 persons killed in Benue by these killer herdsmen. And we heard that such a man, in the course of these agitators who are coming shouting and all of that, bringing the corpse of these people that were killed by these killer herdsmen on the street, they opened fire on one of the protesters and killed the fellow. Would that say, should we not say that we should form a group to address the situation? There are appropriate quarters to report such acts to. Not necessary forming a group that will hinder the performance of our conventional security. Even if the conventional security have compromised.
That there's a need for us to look at the agitations and address them. That if we're able to address them, the agitators and this group will just quietly fizzle out.
This is where I also, with all due respect, Mr. President failed in this aspect. There is a national peace committee that should have looked into the grievances and pains of state agitators, ATOCs in whichever forms, and see how they can, repair the situation and repair further attacks. If there are, grievances from different quarters, the essence for this National Peace Committee is to look into situations across the board and said, where can we come in? And how best can we reconcile these people in the right direction? But they have overlooked Nigerians. Like I said, there's a gap. There's a gap between the government and the people. There's a big gap. And not until this gap is bridged, there's a problem. If this gap are not look, government have overlooked Nigerians so well. They have overlooked them that they can do nothing. That is why you see at different quarters on daily basis, we say insecurity. If the fundamentals are being done, we don't need to have these problems we are having. Institutions are just created for the fun of it. We have National Security Council. We have National Security Strategy. We have been lacking in these areas. What strategies have they come up with? For the past 10 years, we've been facing this situation. There's no strategy on board.
Okay, now, let's go to one worrisome aspect. That's the issue of abduction. It appears at some point we knew it was a Niger Delta thing.
Yes.
Nobody even talk. You just go, you look for expatriates to kidnap. They pay you ransom and you release them and whatever. Quietly, it metamorphosed from being in Niger Delta thing. It moved to other part. Now it's even a thing that somebody even can do in the street, just in the street. Somebody just kidnap somebody in the street and ask for money.
You see, that of the Niger Delta, they have the backing of the political elites. And it was an arrangement to ensure that that which belongs to them truly belongs to them. But over time, you know, God is not a man. Even when we have ex-combatant paid over, I think on record we have about 30,000 ex-combatant on records, paid 65,000 naira monthly, and in the last 16 years, over 40 billion have been given to the Niger Delta. Also, in the last 16 years thereabout, we have also about 9.8 billion on monthly basis going to the Niger Delta, Niger Delta Commission. This is different from even what they came as the GPR, the IGR, and still the Niger Delta is still underdeveloped. So you cannot destroy your state because the Niger Delta went around destroying. The militants went around destroying their own very state, all in the name to what? To send a signal so that it can what? Capture the heart of government.
But looking at kidnapping, like I raised you to draw you back earlier, it's a national thing. How do we stop it?
Kidnapping.
For ransom.
For ransom.
Everywhere. Look at Kaduna own, it's not looking good. In Zamfara, it's just in the southeast even appear to have even gone down a little. You go almost it's just like somebody just pick up somebody.
You see, it is because it was appreciated from time immemorial. It is because it becomes a business from the very day one that it was practiced. That is why it has lingered this far. And it's very unfortunate. We still have, even till today, some unfortunate being advocating for ransom for banditry, advocating for ransom for kidnappers. I can't imagine in the 21st century.
You're sounding as stubborn as Erufai.
No. It's very unfortunate, and these human beings are very unfortunate.
Many people disagree with Erufai on that because they are not your children. That's why you're speaking like this. If your children are kidnapped, then you have to pay ransom.
It's not the way forward. If we continue to be paying ransoms, we have opened a lucrative business for some rascals and some gangsters that have gang-raped this country for their selfish interest. So if we must start from somewhere, then there is need. If government know truly well that they want to end insecurity, there are certain measures they should put in place to avoid paying of ransom. And those advocating for payment of ransom should also be arrested. Because I can't have you in government, I can't have you as a citizen, and you open your mouth telling me to pay for ransoms, and you negotiate with those people on a monthly basis. What sort of human being is this? Where are we going to as a country? So to me, payment for ransom should immediately stop. We must pay sacrifice before we go out of this. That is not to say that human lives should be made as sacrifices. But there are certain sacrifices, technology that we can put in place to checkmate these excesses and also bring this to a halt.
What about our intelligence gathering? We've always asked that before. The bandits and others live here. they collect money, they eat, their children go to school, they build houses. Because if somebody is taking money as a kidnapper, either a bandit or a conventional kidnapper who kidnap for ransom, they still want to buy a house, they still want to live well.
You see, it's like we still yet to understand that kidnapping is a business. We are still yet to understand that it is not as if they are faceless. They are known. They are known.
Is that the unknown gunmen?
No. The unknown gunmen is just to give it a name, to tag it.
You mean the unknown gunmen are known?
The unknown gunmen are known. Yes. The National Security Advisor have told us with evidence that he knows those that are behind.
Why don't you go for them? If you say you know the unknown gunmen,
that is weird.
Why haven't you picked the unknown gunmen who are known?
Mr. President needs a strong political willpower to fight this war. Being in your administration is not enough to shield anything. If you are in his administration and you are behind banditry, you should be removed with immediate effect. And whatever is connected to any forms of terrorism in this country should be removed. I expect Mr. President, on arrival, should ask Pantami to leave office immediately. But very unfortunate.
So Pantami had said those words we have said before.
At what age?
That at this time now, if he recounted, he actually de-radicalized himself, and he now believed in the concept
that have claimed that to be de-radicalized. Those that claim to have been de-radicalized as paraded by our armed forces in years back, and they said they are repentant. You know, it's very quick to give them names. They are repentant Boko Haram. What have been their roles in the fight against insurgency today? Because the essence of the radicalization, the de-radicalization is, they say they granted them this, they have undergo paro. And I asked the question that time, what paro did they undergo? Is it a full paro? Don't they know where they are today? So that in the fight against terrorism, there should be leading for them. What are their usefulness in this fight against terrorism? So, who tells you he has repented should be generally be repented when you remove him from service and see the life after. That is when you can speak for his repentance, genuinely or not genuinely. But you are still in service, and such statement came from you. You say it's years back. Then it's unfortunate that we say have such people in service.
No, I think Boy said those statements were made even while he wasn't in service. But let's now look at it as we round up this conversation here. The president have gone to France. What do you think he'll be telling Macron?
Well, even it's laughable when the Palestine was asking for support. I don't know what Mr. President will be telling Macron. He has nothing to tell him. Insecurity.
Why? Macron, no, you should tell him something. African leaders will meet. And
he has nothing to. What I mean, he has nothing to say is that I am speaking from the point of Section 14, Subsection 2 of 1999 Constitution. He has failed because that is a primary responsibility of government security.
But most times,
so what you should be telling Macron is that I failed in providing security.
All the challenges evolved. The challenges evolved. That what he never saw, what came to meet.
That means he was never prepared. If you are prepared for a position, you should already have your drawing board. What are your drawing board? So I am saying he has nothing to tell Mr. Macron to tell him that insecurity have overwhelmed me.
No, but even Macron had been struggling with Francophone West African countries who also had problems.
They should tell themselves the failures in their aspects and see how they can advise themselves in the best way to address the system without nepotism, without political or inclinations, tribalism, and all of that. If those things are being told to Macron and the best advice is given, I believe there's going to be improvement on his return.
Okay, let's thank you very much, Jonathan Isaac, security consultant here. We have been speaking with you. Thank you very much for coming. We pray and hope we have a peaceful society.
We hope
pray and hope we have a system where a place where we can all sleep with our two eyes closed.
Well, we hope so, and we believe that government will look into the plight of the people and adjust themselves in the right direction. Okay, thank you very much here. On that note, we end this interview segment. The program This Morning on ITV will continue after this break.